This is episode number 1 of The Inspiring Talk with world record holding adventurer, author, and social worker Navin Gulia. Welcome, guys, to The Inspiring Talk. My name is Bijay. I'm host for this show. Each week, I interview today's most successful and inspiring personalities to help you realize your inner potential. Pumped up for my today's very inspiring guest, Navin Gulia. He is a world record holder in adventure sports, multiple award-winning, internationally acclaimed author, adventurer, thinker, and social worker. His life changed when he was taking part in a sport activity while in army. He fell down from height and broke down his neck bone, leaving his body paralyzed, but that couldn't stop him from making his life iconic. He set out on a life-threatening, all-terrain driving adventure to Marsimik, the highest mountain pass in the entire world, driving from New Delhi for 55 hours non-stop to the top. That is 1,400 feet higher than Mount Everest base camp. His record remains unbeaten for 13 years now. He has won numerous awards in his life, such as President's National Role Model Award from Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, Limca Book People of the Year, Times of India, Global Indian, CNN IBN Real Heroes, and the list goes on and on. He has already spoken in several TEDx and other major events. He has been featured in almost all of the national television, magazines, and newspapers, you name it. He has authored 2 books, and both of them are well received by readers and are bestsellers in their respective categories. He now runs a social organization called ADA, where he works primarily for good of underprivileged, differently able children and those from weaker section of the society. This man is amazing. He has achieved so much in his life and has welcomed challenges life has thrown at him with a smile. Guys, make sure that you share this episode with your friends by visiting theinspiringtalk.com/01. That is theinspiringtalk.com/01. And make sure to leave a review and hopefully give a 5-star rating for this show. Without further ado, let me welcome the one and the only Navin Gulia. Welcome back, guys. You are in for a real treat today. Navin Gulia is here with me. Welcome, Navin. Thank you very much for joining me on the show.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
I really appreciate that you took some time to make this possible. So let's talk about your childhood. Please take us there. Share us a little story on how you were like as a kid.
Since my childhood, I think I was fortunate that success never came easy to me. Because when success comes easy, I always say that failure can harm you a little, but success can destroy you. So the fact that I did not get success easy was the best part of my childhood. I had to work very hard. I was of a very short height. I was not very good in studies. My handwriting was bad. I was not very good at sports. Other children used to fight with each other that we don't want Navin in our team. So this is something we call rejection. And we all have to face rejection at some stage in our life in different ways. We have to face rejection from our parents, from our teachers, from our friends. And the point is, how do we face the rejection? How do we react to it? So the only good point was that despite all these the setbacks, people looking down upon me as a weak student or as somebody who's not very good at sports, I used that energy, that frustration, that anger inside me to bring about that change. I always say that frustration and anger is a very positive energy. It's an energy with which you can bring change. If you're not feeling frustrated, if you're not angry, you'll not bring any change. You'll just continue with whatever is going on. So, as a child, I did not know that. It was only that maybe it was my good fortune that I used that energy to work hard and to improve myself. And another big thing is that, which I now realize looking back, that a lot of people will tell you your mistakes, what you are not good at, and all, whatever is your mistake, but they will not tell you how to improve it, how you can get better at it. Like my teacher will tell me, your handwriting is bad. Write it 100 times and get it. I will write 100 times bad and get it. You have, unless you tell me how am I going to improve my handwriting, what are the characteristics of a good handwriting? I've been to so many schools, colleges. I ask students. Very rarely I've got 1 or 2 points. I ask them, tell me 5 characteristics of a good handwriting, and no student is able to tell me. So unless you tell what are the characteristics of a good handwriting, what are the points to be kept in mind, how can somebody improve his handwriting? Just by writing again and again. No, it doesn't work that way. So how to improve is something you have to find yourself. And fortunately, I was able to do that and bring about that change in my life.
I can completely relate with what you just said about the frustration and anger. Sometimes the best of the ideas come out of the frustrated mind. That was so powerful. So, who was the most influential person when you were growing up?
In our school days, we have been told that in different ways that never consider a person as good or bad. Always consider his acts as good and bad. Because even a person who's considered as bad might be doing a few good things, which you can learn from him. Similarly, a person who's doing a lot of good things might be doing 1 or 2 things wrong, which you should also be, you cannot just copy him completely. So there's this as a lesson we had studied in school that पापी से दुश्मनी मत करो, पाप से नफरत करो, पापी से नहीं. So that was the act is more important. So it cannot be. Since my childhood, I've always believed the same thing, that it can never be one person. You have to learn so many different things from so many people. Confining yourself to one person will not work well. So I've learned a lot from a lot of different people, and I have had the ability to question them also. If I admire Kabir a lot as a poet, as a philosopher, but if I don't agree with some particular viewpoint of his, I will express that viewpoint. So it's not that because I admire him a lot, I'm not going to question what he did wrong or what I feel he did wrong. So and that should be there in every student. We usually tell students, so and so was a great personality. Like say Mahatma Gandhi was a great personality. Of course, Mahatma Gandhi was a great personality, but he also could have had a few faults, a few things he did wrongly, which we should not do, because he's a human being. Everybody is a human being. So this is something we need to tell the children, that somebody might be great or famous or popular, but that person could have done something wrong, and the person who we think is wrong could have done something right. So we should always be open to learning from everybody.
Wow, I loved the way you think about influential person. I have heard you saying at one point of time people laughed at you when you shared with them that you wanted to be commando. They said that you will give up on your dream after 4 days of training, but you were right there even after 4 years. What brought that level of determination in you? Was that some kind of fear of being seen as a loser?
See, again, I'm a person who does not believe in motivation as such. Like I don't believe in motivational speaking. I think that is just entertainment. The real motivation, the real thing that inspires you to work is something totally different. And there are basically two motivating forces in this world. One is fear and one is greed. These are only two, in a positive way. Greed, the desire to achieve something, or the fear of losing something. These are the only two things which can motivate you. If a tiger is running behind you, I don't need to give you a motivational lecture. You will run. Even if you're tired, you will still run. Even if your leg is broken, you will still run. So the fear will make you run. Same with fear and desire. These are the two things which make us work in our life. And those have always been my driving forces also. People ask you, what is the fear? What is your fear? What do you fear that is driving you? The fear is that it should not happen, that I am not able to live my life my way. That should not happen. And that's my fear. So I will never allow anything to happen which prevents me from living my life.
So that was the fear of being complacent.
Yes, the fear that life is precious. And I don't want to lose, I don't want to, lose this opportunity of living. So I will never allow any obstacle, any hurdle, any problem in that comes my way to prevent me in any way. So that's the fear of not of losing out on the opportunity to live. That is what keeps me going. Second is that the desire and the desire to I'm in love with life. So it is the desire to live my life to the fullest, to enjoy the life to the fullest, like you have a good meal in front of you. So it is your desire to have it. Same way, life is also like that meal. It's in front of you. I want to have it. I don't want to give it up. So it's my desire to have that that keeps me going always. And I always say, if you want to discover your life, if you want to really and make more out of your life, you have to make the toughest choices, the most difficult choices. Because it is there you will get the maximum of fear. It is there you will get the maximum of difficulties. And it is there that you will get the maximum of acceleration and joy also when you succeed. You cannot play small games and win huge. If you want to win huge, play huge games. So it's your life, play a huge game with your life also, so that you get the maximum gain out of it. So that's why I always chose a difficult option whenever I had a few options in front of me. And that probably was the reason that I chose to become a commander and never gave up the choice as well.
I loved what you just said about making hard choices in life. They not only make us more stronger, but also prepare us for the challenges that we might face in life. So now I would like to talk about the accident that changed your life. Would you mind sharing with my audience a little about the accident that you have met?
Hmm. See, people sometimes because I've seen people say that and have that opinion that maybe the situation that okay I had to meet with an accident and somehow that might have motivated me and all that. No, situation is before the situation comes into picture, you have already lived a life and it is how you have trained yourself. What do you believe in? What is your belief system? That is what comes in handy when you actually get to face the situation. So in my entire life, I had always motivated me myself to work hard and to take risks, to have the right answers. Like when if any person has to face some losses in his life, he loses a near and dear one, or he gets injured or something happens to him, and he says that why did it happen to me? Why me? I find this question so stupid. Why will it not be me? Why will it not happen to me? The whole world has to die. The whole world has to suffer. The whole world, anybody can get injured. Anybody can lose his life. So why wouldn't I lose it? Why would I not go through the same things? Why was I thinking I was the chosen one? So if something happens, of course, you don't choose to get hurt or injured. Of course, that doesn't happen. But if it does happen and when it does happen, why do you question? We have always seen that whole world has to face these difficulties. We are not the first one who was facing it. I was not the first one who was facing it. So because I was trained in that way, because I was ready to face such things in my life, I was taking those chances in my life. Like I always say, if you take a chance, if you take some risks in your life, there are two possibilities that can happen. Either you will win or you will lose. But if you take no chances, then you will lose. That is the only option. There's no winning option. So at least when I'm taking risk, there's some possibility of me winning. So I met with this accident, and I never had that question in my mind, why me? It had happened, it had happened. And now the question was how to face it. And that was one. And secondly, such losses or such injuries or such difficult times in your life, my life or anybody's life, will never come at a time of your choosing. It will not be that you will choose a day when it will come. No, it will come any day when you will be least expecting that to happen. So definitely it was not the time and place where I was expecting it. But that is how it works. That is the reality of life. So I had to meet, I was preparing myself to fight a different kind of battle, and then in a sporting accident in taking part in an infantry obstacle crossing competition, I met with this injury. I fell down from a height and I broke my neck. My body was paralyzed forever. And during the days of training, my sports days, I had always trained myself for one particular thing. And that was, it had taught me that, my training, my sports. But always keep a calm mind, especially in a difficult situation. If you're not able to keep a calm mind, then you will not be able to face it. This is a reality. And I can give any number of examples to prove it. If you're walking on the road, you pick up a stone and you throw it at a lamppost, the stone hits the lamppost and you are excited. Wow, I'm so good. You pick up another stone and you throw it, you're not able to hit. Because you got excited, you are not calm. So, the previous Indian captain, Mahendra Singh Dhoni, why was he called Captain Cool? Because he was calm. That's why he was able to take the right decisions. So my sports should always taught me to be calm. That whatever be the situation, be calm. Otherwise, you'll not be able to face it. Right. So all the training that I have put myself through, I was able to face my injury. I had to spend 2 years in the hospital, but then I was always working hard. So if more hardships came my way, if I had to work hard to move my wheelchair again, to get a little better again, I had to work very hard. I didn't mind it. I was always working hard. So that is what helped me go through that period of 2 years that I had to spend in the hospital. Basically, it is not that you suddenly get motivated after listening to a motivational lecture. That's not going to happen. You have to train yourself to believe in certain things, and then you can face any situation.
I'm sure that very few people look at the challenges the way you look at them and the way you deal with them is very inspiring. When you met an accident and doctors told you that you might survive if you could survive for another 3 days, what were those first 3 days like? What were you saying to yourself?
Yes. I don't know if I made that way or if it was completely my training alone, but I was calm and I have always trained myself to focus on what needs to be done. Like a lot of people come to me and they say, this is going wrong, that is going wrong, this is going, they tell you all the difficulties and all that is going wrong. I tell them, don't bother about that. Tell me what needs to be done. Karna kya hai? What do we need to do? Don't tell me what all is going wrong. How is that going to help me? You just tell me what needs to be done. So my focus is always on that. So although I knew that I was in a situation where I could lose my life also, but I was not afraid of that situation. I don't know that great life came near me because I knew that that will be the most harmful thing that can happen. So I was calm and my focus was that I have to spend every minute, survive every minute. And I used to close my eyes and I used to imagine myself walking. So walking one step after other step after other step, and that's how, step after step, I just kept walking. And that is how I, survived for those 3 days. So, yes, and I did. Another thing is that I'm never afraid of failure. And the fear of failure is the main reason of failure. So I never allow fear to come near me that whether I'll win or whether I'll succeed. What if I fail? What if I succeed? What if I fail? I'll see after that. Why do I have to bother about that before? My focus should be on success only, on success alone. So that's what helped me go through that phase.
I'm completely with you on that. When we are facing some challenges that life throws at us, patience is definitely something that we need to cope up with that and come out of that challenge because nothing lasts longer. Everything has got their end, and the challenges or obstacle also should have to fade away from our life. But facing this challenge and coming out of this accident didn't stop you from doing amazing things in your life. You came out being even more stronger after this accident. And I'm talking about the adventure that you had in your life. You have this world record for driving from Delhi to the world's highest mountain pass, Marsimik, for 55 hours non-stop. How was that idea came into your mind?
See, I don't know. I find it strange. I don't know why it happens that people don't look at the truth. They somehow lie to themselves. That they live in a make-believe world. And I'll give you an example how that happens. Somebody's philosophy is not working. He's failing every time. He's suffering, he's troubled, he's distressed. He'll still keep saying my philosophy is right. If your philosophy was right, you would have been a happy person. So they don't believe. Now, similarly, I'll give you another example that if you work in the sun for 8 hours, 10 hours, you're working in the hot sun, even water will taste like the best drink in the world that you can have. And if you are just relaxing in an air condition, even the best drink will not taste good. So hard work, when you work hard and then you get to eat, then you get to rest, it tastes so much better. It is better than the best food of the world. So once everybody has seen it and still they go for the luxurious life or some costly food rather than working hard. Working hard can make them enjoy much more. Still they refuse to see it. So I don't do that. I realize that working hard, taking risks, taking adventures, this is the best that can happen in life. You experience so much, you learn so much, you enjoy so much. And I was always into adventure. Now, since I was into adventure, rock climbing, whitewater rafting, skydiving, or powered hang gliding, different kind of things. So I wanted to achieve something in that field, and not just for the purpose of achieving that. Okay, I've made a record and I'll become famous. That really does not serve much purpose in life. Main aim was that I should be able to prove something, and I always used to say that some target, something that is considered impossible, can be achieved. And so I thought of choosing something which is considered seemingly impossible, and then achieve it. So I decided on driving from here to Kharbula. I had decided first non-stop I would drive. But then I came to know that there is another mountain pass which does not have a road even. And that was the last 30 kilometers you have to climb without roads. That was Marsimik, and that was higher than Kharbula. So this appeared like an impossible target to me also. How would I be able to do it? There's so many things that could go wrong. But that was the entire purpose, that I should be able to do something which is considered impossible. And this was in 2004 that I did, driving from New Delhi to Marsimik non-stop in 55 hours, crossing 7 of the highest mountain passes along the way, 7 of the highest mountain passes of the world, not 1 or 2 but 7 of them. So I achieved that in 2004 when there was very little information available on the internet. Along the route, very less support was available. These days, all the facilities and things and information and everything is available. But during those days, nothing was there. So, and despite the entire market being flooded with the best SUVs right now, which at that time there were hardly 2-3 SUVs in the market. So, even today, people have not been able to come anywhere close to accomplishing that. So it was that difficult. But then I was able to do it, and I was able to make that point that something which you consider impossible can also be achieved. We look at a target and we say it is impossible because we are looking at the whole target in one go. We should divide it into 100 smaller segments, and then we'll be able to achieve it. Like if Sachin Tendulkar thought initially that I would make 20,000 runs, we will say it's impossible, it can never be achieved. But then one run at a time, one ball at a time, one over at a time, then you can achieve it. So even the most difficult target, the most seemingly impossible target can be achieved in life.
Yes, definitely. It was not easy to take on that adventure, to make that decision to prove to the world. So how long did it took for you to prepare mentally from idea to finally execution on September of 2004?
It would have taken, I think, 6-7 years period of time. And maybe in my entire life, that was one thing that I was, I think my entire life was a training for that particular day itself. Because despite facing all the difficulties, all the kind of challenges, my crew members falling in, the vehicle giving problem, and all kinds of things, we still reached the top. And that was, if I would have failed that day, I would not have got this opportunity again. People would not have sponsored other people. They would not have had the same trust in me again if I would have failed that day. So that happens. Our entire life, the training of our life comes into use on one particular day. if Gandhi had a philosophy behind him, he had an education behind him, he had a life of training behind him in South Africa, and after coming to India, and then Gandhi march and that was the point where his actual training, his entire life, found its purpose. And that happens to all of us, that there is that one particular event, one particular thing that we would be doing in our life, and our life is a training for that particular day itself.
So it was 7 years of preparation for that one particular adventure.
Yes, yes. Our entire life, right from our childhood. I'll tell you something, I'll just give you one example. We learn very basic and very important lessons in life. Very basic, in third standard, fourth standard. But people forget them. And they're wondering what went wrong. The first lesson that we learn in our primary, pre-primary or something at that time is, don't keep all your eggs in the same basket. And still everybody keeps all his eggs in the same basket. We invest in one thing so much that we don't do other. Like I was preparing for being a commander in the army, but at the same time I was a writer, I was a poet, I used to speak, my interest was in social work, my interest was in adventure sports. So even if one of them was taken away, I still had five things to do. So we should invest in a number of our hobbies and interests, so that even if one we have to give up for some reason, we still have a lot to look forward in life too. And people usually focus completely on one, they invest everything in one, and then that one is gone for some reason, they just find themselves helpless. So the very first lesson of our life. So we have learned those lessons in school, but people just tend to forget them.
Awesome. Whenever I'm trekking or doing any day-to-day task, I look at the end target and feel like, I still have that much to go. Did you feel same way while riding up to Marsimik? Is it an advantage or disadvantage?
See, somebody asked Sachin Tendulkar once. I've not watched television for a large number of years. Now I don't even know who's in the current team. I don't watch television at all or cricket. But from that time, I can tell you that I saw somebody asking Sachin Tendulkar that, did you ever think that you will reach 10,000 runs? So I was wondering, what a stupid question. A batsman is always focusing on the next ball. He's never bothered about 10,000 runs. He's not even bothered about the century. His main focus is the very next ball. So when we are doing our work also, yes, we have somewhere in the back of the mind, we have the final target also. Somewhere in the back of the mind. But our main focus, 99.999% focus is on the next ball, the next step. So we should always focus on, even when I was driving from here to Marsimik, that particular expedition, I was not looking at anything beyond the road in front of me. That's all. And I kept looking at the road in front of me, I kept riding, and I reached there. If I would have started thinking what will happen, what if, how much, what, then it would have been, I would have landed into trouble.
So guys, focus on your very next step. Don't worry too much about the end result. So Navin, what's your thought on potential? People often give up too soon. What you have to say?
Again, same thing. Just a day back, they're very existing concepts like bravery. I don't believe in bravery. I don't believe in motivation. People say, I'm not able to focus. I'm not able to work hard. Why are you not able to focus? Why are you not able to work hard? What do you want to do? I don't understand, why does one need motivation to do his work? Why can't he just do his work? I don't understand the purpose. Does a mother need motivation to take care of his kids, of her kids? No. Does she need motivation to protect them? No. So, why should you need any motivation to do the work that you want to do? If you want to become a doctor, study. Why do you need motivation for that? Just keep studying. That's all that is required. So, the youngsters who come in, they ask me, sir, I'm not able to focus. There is no medicine available in the market for focusing on your study. If you're not able to do it, you're not able to do it. It's that simple. That's all. So, that is about it. And I really don't have any specific advice for a person who gives up too soon or something, because this is the reality of the truth of life. every person is not going to succeed. Some people are going to succeed, some people are going to fail. You decide whether you want to be in those who will succeed or whether you want to be amongst those who will fail. You decide that. But that is the reality. Everybody is not going to succeed. So if you want to give up, you don't want to do further. No, nobody is bothered. 7,000 crore people have come into this world and gone. They will also come and go. Who is bothered? So if you want to do it, go ahead and do it. Whatever you want to do in your life. I really don't know what I can advise a person who gives up too soon. I don't think there is anything that I can advise to that person. It's a choice a person is making.
Okay. When you reached Marsimik at more than 18,600 feet height, and that is 1,400 feet higher than Everest Base Camp, how was that feeling, and how did you celebrated your victory?
Most of my answers will be unconventional. So I'm just something. Somebody would be expecting something, but I will say something totally different. So it's not a deliberate thing that I do. It's only that I personally believe that we a lot of people just prefer to live in a make believe world. The reality they don't see. The reality is that yes, I reached the top, and I was very satisfied, very happy inside, but not very, like somebody achieves a certain victory, and maybe wins some award, some prize money in a game show or something, and he's like, this is the end of the world. So that kind of a feeling I have not had after any success, whether it was reaching that mountain pass or any of the other successes I have had in my life. Because I feel that is only one step. It is just one thing. I succeeded, I reached there, I'm happy. Now what? Now from here where to go? This is not the end. Like I said, failure can harm you a little, but success can destroy you. The people who who have been destroyed by success. So how you treat success is very important. You have to treat it with humility, with very being grounded that okay, you are fortunate you were able to do it, but now see what you can make out of it. I reached the top of it. Now what can I do after that? Is that the end? Just like somebody who's playing cricket or playing like Muhammad Ali. If he was a boxer, he was a poet also. He was a philosopher also. So he had no things after boxing to do. It's not okay, I have won a belt, I have won the one title, now I have nothing else, I'm going to retire. There are things he wanted to do after that. So any particular success should not be then. You should see what you want to do after that. And that's my focus very quickly goes from let's celebrating that part to actually looking forward what do I want to do now further from that.
Yeah, I have also heard many other successful people saying nothing fails like success, and having one success should not limit us or should not make us so complacent that we stop looking forward in our life and bringing some bigger success and doing much more than that in our life. Now, let's talk about your book. You have already published two books, and both of them are bestsellers in their respective category. Latest one is In the Quest of Last Victory. What is that book about?
See, it's about my story, but not my story, not with a self-obsessive kind of attitude, but with the storyline that how a weak child, a child who was not very good at sports, at studies, how was he able to improve himself and do better? Because most of the stories that are told to the children are of people who are born great. They were great from their childhood. So the student who's reading it, he says, "What can I do? This person was born great. I'm not born great." So that's why I brought out that story that how come a weak child, how can a weak child improve? How a so-called weak child. So and I've just stuck to the storyline so that I can share that story with people and people can gain from it. And I always again the same thing. My intention behind writing the book is it that I will become popular? Is it because it sounds very good to say that I have written a book? Is that the reason? No. It's that I want to share that story so that people can get motivated by it, can learn from it, Change. I don't say everything is I said is right, but at least it will make them think. And now, because a lot of the youth today and people today have started believing that being famous is important. Just a couple of days back, I had written that even pizza and burger is famous. So, being famous is not the thing. What are you famous for? Are you famous as a junk food, or are you famous as something substantial, something good? So, if I have written a book, is my book appreciated because is my book famous because it has created some kind of controversy, or is it people are appreciating it because it's a good book? So, I believe that it should be because it is appreciated as a good book. And fortunately, I have, all the online reviews that I have seen in my book might not have sold as many copies or being as popular as other people for different marketing reasons. But the number of people who have read it, everybody is giving the best possible review that any author can expect to get. So I feel I've been successful with writing my book. It need not be famous because there is something called popular writing. So I don't want it to be as popular as just like a Bollywood film, a popular book, a popular read. I don't want to be popular like that. I want that the people who read it appreciate it more, and that is I've been able to get that from my book. So I feel I've been successful in writing it.
I'm definitely gonna pick your book this weekend, and guys, make sure that you also read his book. By the way, it is completely free for you to read his book if you go to his website, and I have included link to get that on show note of this episode at theinspiringtalk.com/01. That is theinspiringtalk.com/01. Go there and you will find link for his website where you can read this book completely for free. And so Navin, now you run a social organization called Ada, that is Apna Dunya Apna Asiana. What is it about, and what are all activities that you are running through this organization?
See, I'm working with children, a lot of underprivileged children from the weaker sections of the society, differently able children who are made to exploited for begging purpose or who are exploited for labor. So many different types of children who are needy. And I'm working with those children in different, even within two brothers, they have different requirement, two siblings. So every child is different and every child needs are different. His needs are different. You cannot apply the same solution to all the children. So whatever number of children I am able to work with, I see specifically what is the requirement of that child and then address that particular issue. Now, that's specifically what I'm doing. But before that, because I meet a lot of youngsters, a lot of people who want to do social work. So as I say, social work is not about feeding a poor person. That could be out of arrogance or self-indulgence that I give food to poor people, so you feel very great about yourself. So just giving food to poor people is not social work. Just giving clothes to poor people is not social work. Just helping these children is not social work. Firstly, you tell me, do you meet people with a smile? Are people happy to meet you? Are you a happy person? Do you spread happiness around you? The people around you, do they get happiness after meeting you? If that is not the case, you cannot do social work. If tell me, if your colleague or your competitor succeeds, he gets promoted, you don't get promoted. Do you have the courage to go and congratulate him and tell him, okay, I did not succeed, you succeeded, but let's celebrate your success? Do you have that bigger heart? Do you have a heart big enough to appreciate others? And we all want appreciation for ourselves. But do we have a heart? We need a larger heart to appreciate other people. Do you have a heart large enough to appreciate other people or what they are doing, for what they are good at? So unless you have all these good, in which you're giving to other people in an emotional way, then you can go ahead and do social work. But if you're mean, if you're selfish, if you don't want to appreciate other people, if your friends are also troubled by you, because of your negativity, people around you don't find happiness after meeting you, then what's the purpose you doing social work? First, at least do this much. So, social work is not about just helping the poor or the needy. It's about being a better person yourself. Then you can do. And unless you are able to give to other people, till the time you grab for yourself, even 500 crores is less. If you get 500 crores, you would want 10,000 crores, 1,000 crores or something. You will always want more. Michael Jackson did not have enough. Shah Rukh Khan does not have enough. People who have got fame or something, simply it is not enough. Because that is for themselves. But when you give for others, even little is enough. So we should always try to, eventually, it should be an aim in our life to give to other people. That is very important if you want to be happy people.
I really appreciate everything that you are doing for the betterment of the society. And guys, if you like to know more about his organization ADA and his vision, make sure you visit ada.in, that is ADAA.in, and make your donation for this noble cause that this man himself is leading for the betterment of society. So the website is ada.in, that is ADAA.in. Go and check what are all the activities and social campaigns that he is running right now. Make your contribution. Even the smallest of the contribution can make bigger impact in someone's life. And guys, I'm enjoying this conversation with Navin Gulia, and I hope you are too. Now it's time for the enlightening round. But before that, here's a small request for you. If you love listening to this podcast, make sure you subscribe to our newsletters at theinspiringtalk.com/subscribe. And also, don't forget to like The Inspiring Talk Facebook page for latest updates. And you can find link for all the resources mentioned in this episode, such as book, website, programs, or people, by visiting theinspiringtalk.com/01. That is theinspiringtalk.com/01. So Navin, are you excited for the enlightening round?
I am always rocking.
I love that.
That's the default mode.
That's your default mode. I love that. So, what do you think is the biggest barrier for people not to achieve things in their life that they are capable of?
See, the first thing is belief. You have to believe in what you're doing. If you don't believe, you have doubts whether you're doing it right or not, whether it's the right aim to have or not. You'll not be able to achieve anything in life. Gandhi, one day he decided, I will wear only one cloth, and I'll wear a cloth that I'll make with my own hand. He never changed it. You can disagree. You can say, why didn't he wear? He should have worn. You can disagree with him. But the thing is, he never changed that. Once he said that I'm going to wear one cloth that is made by my own hand. Secondly, even in cold weather, he wore the same thing. So, secondly, he said, I'm going to stand for peace. And people used to throw things at him. People used to scatter thorns in his path. He used to walk bare feet. People used to hate him. He was very unpopular before his death because he was asking people not to fight. And so once he believed in a certain theory that peace is the thing that works, he never changed his opinion. He decided once that I will not enter politics, and he never entered politics. Never even came close to it, entering politics. He said, I will not do it. So, because it was his complete belief. And people, youngsters, youth, a lot of people, because they don't read as much, they do criticize him as well. But see, you can disagree with him. You cannot deny his success. He is the most popular person in the world as far as peace, the philosophy of peace is concerned. You are not. He is. So, give him his success at least. It was his belief in his theory, in what he believed in. Similarly, Bhagat believed in a particular concept. And he also never had a doubt about what he did. So, that's why Bhagat Singh is famous. So, it is that you believe what you believe, that this is not these are my teachings, this is what I want to do in my life, and I believe this is the right way. If you keep doubting yourself, you keep changing yourself, you will not be able to achieve anything in your life.
What is your definition of success?
Everybody has his or her own definition of success. For me, success is to not carry any regrets from the past, to be happy about the present, and to be excited about the future. That is success.
What inspires you to do everything that you do?
Life inspires me. Life is beautiful. The fact that we get to see, the fact that we can hear, the fact that we can live, it's a miracle to get this opportunity of living. A friend of mine said, Navin, wish there was a miracle. I said, what can be a bigger miracle than life? the fact that we're getting to live. Why not be happy about it? So I'm in love with life, and life inspires me all the time. I don't need anything additional to inspire me.
Yes, guys, there could be no bigger miracle happening at this moment than being alive. Let's start cherishing the fact that we are alive at this moment and we have got tremendous amount of potential in us to make bigger thing happen in our life. So Naveen, which one daily habit do you believe has been game changer for you in your success journey?
A daily habit. I always wake up early in the morning, and I think that is the best part of my life. I've never given it up ever since my third or fourth standard. I get up at 5 o'clock. Sometimes I get up at 4 o'clock also, and that gives me the energy, the freshness of the morning. People are starting their day by 11 o'clock. I finish my work by 11 o'clock, so I have the entire day to enjoy more.
Which one book, according to you, is a must read for everyone seeking to improve their life?
One book would be, again, it's like one person, selecting a person or a book. I personally think that should not be done. You should read a lot of books because what is the process of learning? I ask students, what is the process of learning? Is it that you read? Because what you are reading could be wrong. Somebody might have written wrong. Some facts might be wrong. Things might be wrong. So it's not about reading a book. It's about questioning what you are reading. And in that case, there will be a lot of books, lot of writers, lot of authors, different. Always try to, if you believe in a certain philosophy, a certain way of life, always try to read books of the other person also. So that you get to, because like in history, we always read history from one side, not from the other side. That is the reason of all the hate in this world. If we read history from both sides, we'll not have that biased opinions about each other. So always try to read the other side. Always try to read something that you don't agree with also, so that it adds to your. If you are reading only what you agree with, it's really not helping you in any way. So read a lot, question a lot. That's what works.
If you were to start this success journey all over again, what are those three things that you would have done differently?
See, I believe carrying regrets is the worst thing to happen. One should never carry regrets. Whatever has happened in the past, some good things, some bad things, some right things, some wrong things. But that is the reason Naveen is Naveen today. If I would not have committed those mistakes, I would not be me. I would be a different person. I want to be me only. So even if I would have committed some mistakes, if things wrong, right, whatever. If I am given a chance to live my life again, I will do everything the same way that I did. I will fall in love with the same girl, knowing well that I will not get her love. I'll run the same obstacle course, knowing well that I'll get injured again. I have no regrets about anything in my life. I will do everything exactly the same way that I have done in my past. I have no regrets at all in my life.
I loved the way you look back at your life. Very few people look back at their life the way you do that. So here's the last question for you. Consider that this microphone is connected to ear of 7 billion or 7.5 billion people, whatever the number is, people of this world, and they are listening to you right now, and you have got 1 minute to give your most important message to people out there. What would your message be?
Uh, See, a lot of people ask me this question. What is the purpose of life? Purpose of human life? So I say purpose of human life can only be the way in which we are different from animals. Because animals, all of them, we are not required. If so, if you are asking me the purpose of humans specifically, it should be something which is different in them from animals. And humans are different from animals in two ways. One is that we can do a large amount of good for other people. We have the capability of doing a large amount of good. An animal cannot. One horse, what good will he do? One donkey, what good will he do? But humans, one human can help thousands of people. So humans have the potential of helping other people. So we should help. That definitely should be one purpose of our life. Second purpose of our life is that it is only humans who don't leave their injured behind, their weak behind. We don't say, okay, the weak is weak, leave behind. The mother of a wildebeest is just being born, a wildebeest calf. The mother leaves the calf and goes if it does not walk with her. If it's not able to walk, if it is injured, the injured animals are left behind. But humans, if a human being is injured, we treat him, we take care of him. So we should take care of the weak amongst us. So basically the purpose of life for humans should be helping others and taking care of our weak. These are two things that can be the purpose of our life.
That was very powerful, Navin. I'm so glad that you are here. Now we have come to an end of this talk. But before that, can you please share with my audience what is the best way to reach out to you or connect with you and learn more from you?
The best way is my email ID, navingulia@gmail.com, navingulia@gmail.com, and my website, navingulia.info. Fortunately, I'm not a very popular person, so I'm very available. So people can meet me anytime. It's not very difficult to meet me.
You are doing a lot of amazing things without making a lot of noise.
Thank you. And I always say, as a child, I wanted to be a big man. बड़ा आदमी बनना चाहता था. लेकिन when I grew up, I realized I want to be a small man. That's the aim of my life.
So, Navin, you could have sat down there complaining about the situation life has presented in front of you, but you challenged the situation and moved forward to prove the world that only results matter at the end and everything else is a lie. And I thank you for showing us that we are much more capable than we really think. I'm glad that you took some time to inspire my audience by sharing your journey. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thanks so much. It was my pleasure.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
Thank you.
There you have it, guys. If you got some inspiration, if you learned something from this episode, make sure that you share it with your family and friends by visiting theinspiringtalk.com/01. There are some tweetables on the show notes. Make sure you tweet them by visiting theinspiringtalk.com/01. And don't forget to tag me @Bijay Speaks and Navin Gulia @Navin Gulia on Twitter. And finally, guys, as Navin said, if you want to win big in your life, you gotta play big. You cannot win big by playing small. Take bigger risks and bolder actions than ever, and don't get stuck in your life. Keep on moving forward. I'll catch you in the next. Thank you for listening. And now, go out there and create something inspiring.